Planning to take your new baby on a cruise and don't know where to start? Do not book until you listen to these 5 top tips. Hi, I'm Sarah and we have been cruising with our family for over 20 years. Cruising is an amazing way to travel. We have travelled since our boys were really young, but there are a few things you need to consider more now than ever because maritime laws are very strict, and there are certain things that could ruin your holiday if you do not book your cruise correctly. The first thing is sailing age. So when you book a cruise, your child must be 6 months to cruise on a shorter cruise and 12 months to sail on a transatlantic. And sometimes cruise lines change these and update them. So check the small print before you put a lot of time into planning, because you could come to booking and you can't add your child to the cruise. The second, and this is the most important, is check if the children can use the cruise ship pools. Many cruise lines will not allow children in the pools. In fact, all cruise lines will not allow children in the pools and have separate splash areas for children. These are not areas that can be submersed. They're splash areas such as this where they can run through and little slides, and they're even separate from the potty trained area. If children are not potty trained and wearing swim nappies or diapers, they will not allow them in the pool. They will have to go in this separate area. So check the cruise lines and the cruise ships that have them. So for example, Royal Caribbean and Disney and NCL have these on many of their ships. So do MSC, P&O, some do, some don't. So check the cruise line, but more importantly, check the ship. We have a family cruise Facebook book with over 10,000 people, and it's a weekly occurrence that people come into the group and say, I booked a cruise, help, and my child cannot go in the pool. Before you book anything, check. If your child isn't potty trained or you anticipate they might not be, then choose a ship with a splash pool. And for us, the best ships for this are the Oasis class Royal Caribbean ships, because they've got amazing splash pool areas like this. Or if you look at the NCL ships, some of them have got pools like this. But make sure you check and get the right ship, because if it hasn't, they will not bend on it. It is a non-negotiable rule. Number 3, if childcare is important to you, check that the ship has nurseries. There are play facilities for children that are potty trained over a certain age. For example, Royal Caribbean Kids Clubs, the minimum age is 3, but they have to be potty trained. So if they're younger than that, there is nursery care available. Some of those have fees applied, so you have to look, and they're very limited, so you have to book. So check that the ship has it if that's important to you. Number 4, check the cabin setup and sleeping arrangements. Again, someone this week has commented in our Facebook group saying that they can't fit a fold away, a pack and play sleeper for their baby because they've been informed that there isn't room. So look for a cabin that's going to fit all of your family in. And even though some of these cabins do hold 4, they hold 4 on pull down beds, which you're just never going to put a toddler in. I've been there myself, and my husband and I have slept on top bunks where toddlers have slept on the bottom, just because we didn't want them being on the top and falling out. So you've really got to consider sleeping arrangements and whether a pack and play will fit in. Again, look at cruise lines with family cabins. So Royal Caribbean have the family surfside cabins. Some of the newer NCL ships have cabins for families of 5, or book a suite area, which more expensive, but you've got more room for the family. Junior suites are a great option if you want to fit in a pack and play. So yes, it's more costly, but you don't want to be climbing over a pack and play to get to the bathroom. Number 5 is consider the itinerary for your port days. Now, when our kids were younger, we didn't always get off. As much as we love exploring new places, sometimes when the kiddies just wanted to stay on the ship when it was quiet and play in the splash pool, and that was fine. But what we did do is consider port days with ports that were easy to get into. Ports such as Barcelona, Naples, going across to somewhere like Capri where you can get on a ferry and it's all a bit of an adventure. But look for port areas that have got little trains, and so that you can do a little tour with a small train. Key West, that's a really good one if you're sailing out of a Caribbean or America. Look for the ports where there's beaches nearby, places to walk to, and you've got lots to do in the port area for kiddies, because you don't necessarily want to go far and drag them on long excursions. Some kids are up for adventure. Some babies, you want to get off, have a wander. It's got to be stroller friendly, so you can take your buggy off and you're not climbing hills and having to carry prams and buggies up hills. So you just want to consider places that are going to be easy for your family. Packing for a cruise with kids doesn't have to be a nightmare. You just have to have your structured packing list. You know what you'll need for your kiddies. A great way of doing this, we've got loads of packing lists. I will link some below, but a great way of doing this is as I use stuff when mine were younger, I would note it down. So I'd have a list so that I'd build up a list of what I needed to take on holiday. And then that helped me compile a packing list of things I needed to take on a ship. Essentials I couldn't do without, like Sudocrem, silly little things like that, Germaline, plasters. I mean, you know, we don't travel light with kids, do we? Having all of that available makes life so much easier, and that's why being near to a home port helps. If you're in, I don't know if you live in Miami or if you live in the Florida area and then cruising out of Miami or Port Canaveral, then you can drive to the port. You can take what you need. If you're in the UK, then Southampton, you can drive to the port. If you, like me, like sailing out of somewhere like Barcelona, find a supermarket. Go to a supermarket, stock up the day before, travel the day before, because what you don't want to be doing is rushing around with kids. Travel a day or two before and have time to go to the supermarket and stock up on what you need and all of your essentials for the cruise. Also, make sure you take spare dummies. When my kids were little, they had a certain type of dummy, or if you're American, pacifier, and they wouldn't move from that brand. Take spares. If they lose them, take a spare teddy. If they lose it, you've got it there. Also have a little bag with toys in so that you've got toys. I used to have a little drawstring bag with a Disney set in that the kids took everywhere, and we've got a Toy Story set that has been all over the world with us in the little bag, and I've still got it today because I can't part with it. But yeah, everywhere we went, it went. They're minifigures. They could get them out and play with them while we were maybe having a cocktail in the evening, or if they came to dinner with us, that they could play with. All right, it's great to have an iPad and colouring stuff, but also some little minifigures that you can just carry around and they've got something to play with or play with in the cabin. Another really great idea is alphabet squares, magnetic alphabet squares, because the walls are magnetic and that keeps the kids occupied. Little cars, little figures, and colouring stuff. Having small bite-sized things to keep them occupied just makes life easier for us parents. Okay, so I really hope that helped. Cruising with a baby can be amazing. As long as you go with a toolkit ready and structured so that you've got everything you need to have a great holiday, it can be a really chilled experience. And the great thing about cruising as a parent is you do get to have your own time if you're structured and planned with your childcare. And as I say, with the babies, it's booking in nurseries, even if it's a couple of slots a week, because these ships are so big and there are so many children on, it just gives you a little bit of time. I hope that's helped. Please, any questions, do ask. Cruising with a family is just such an enjoyable way to see the world, and I find it so relaxing because you wake up in the new port every day. The older the kids get, the more you explore and the more braver and the more daring you are with your cruise excursions. So any comments or questions, please do drop them below. Thank you for watching. If this video was helpful, please like and subscribe, and happy cruising.